video. Today, I'm going to be talking about episode 8 of season 17 of Deadliest Catch. And this episode starts out with the Cornelia Marie and the Time Bandit. The Time Bandit and the Cornelia Marie are headed in to offload their crab. Johnathan and Josh are ahead of the Cornelia Marie. There's only one spot left for offloading for the day. Casey's like, I'm gonna make them think that the cannery's having a problem, so they have to go run out and get parts for him so we can get in there first. Casey calls the Time Bandit on their phone and makes it sound like the cannery is calling them. They're kind of breaking up, so then he hangs up the phone on them. Then he calls them over the radio, and he's like, did you hear that they've got a broken part and they need you to go get that part for them? Johnathan believes that. They start turning, and as they're turning, Josh looks out the port window and he sees a boat behind him. So then he grabs binoculars and he's like, hey, that's my boat! Then they realize, oh, they're pranking us. They want to get in there before us. So the Cornelia Marie and the Time Bandit are racing each other to get into offload, and the cannery, they're telling them who's gonna win, so they're really close to each other, but the Time Bandit gets in there first before the Cornelia Marie, so they get to offload their crab. And then it goes to the southern wind, and his fishing isn't doing so hot, so what he decides to do, he looks at his radar, and he sees a bunch of processing boats that are hauling in Bairdi Quota. He sees they've been there for quite a few days, so he's like, they're on some really good crab. He's like, I don't have enough pots to circle around the whole area of where these processing crab boats are. He first calls Captain Wild Bill on Summer Bay to see if he will help him in that area. He's talking with Wild Bill, and Wild Bill's like, nah, we're just gonna stick to our guns and see what we can get. Then they hang up. Then Harley calls the Northwestern to see if they'll work with them, and Sig's like, yeah, we're not doing so good, so we'll come over and we'll hone in on the school of Bairdi Crab. The Northwestern starts stacking their gear to head on over there. Then the southern wind is also stacking on their gear to head over to the area where they're going to start circling it. And their plan is to have the Northwestern cover the north and east, and the southern wind will get the south and west area of that circle. And it goes back to the Summer Bay, and the Summer Bay is hauling in their gear. And Wild Bill had hauled in the gear, and he's like, I'm just going to stick here and see if we can work it out. So he sets his gear back. Then goes to the Northwestern, and the Northwestern is still hauling in their gear, getting ready to move over to the grounds. They're going to go work with Harley. Then it goes to the southern wind, and the southern wind starts setting their gear where they think the crab is good. Harley's like, once we have the gear set, I'm going to spot check it, and if we see one of the processing boats going by, then that's where I'm going to go check, see if that's a really good spot for our Bairdi crab. Then it goes to the Time Bandit and the Cornelia Marie. They have just offloaded their crab, and they're in town. They're getting ready to head out for the season. Then the southern wind and the Northwestern are on the grounds, and they're both setting their gear where they think the crab is really good. Then it goes to the Summer Bay. The Summer Bay's hauling in a pot, and their coiler, it starts malfunctioning. It brings the pot in too far, so they have to. It just kept spinning, so it kept bringing in the pot, so they're going to have to figure out what's going on with the hydraulic. They start going through it, and they figure out that there's something broken in one of the couplers for the hydraulic line. It goes to the southern wind, and the southern wind sees the processing boat crossed one of their pots, so he's like, I'm going to go check that pot out, and that pot has like 40 plus Bairdi crab in it. He's like, we're going to set all of our gear here and bombard this area. So he tells the Northwestern that, and the Northwestern's like, we'll get our gear on and we'll start heading that way. Then it goes to the Summer Bay, and the Summer Bay is going through their gear, and they're getting about 4 Bairdi crab or less. So Wild Bill decides to call Harley on the southern wind and get in on the action. Harley's like, yeah, come on over. We'll give you the coordinates to where we are, and we'll help get this quota dealt with. Then goes to the Northwestern. The Northwestern calls the Cornelia Marie and the Time Bandit to see if they're willing to come back out, because a lot of boats that are fishing the Bairdi quota, they just gave up because they weren't doing so good. there's a rumor that the fishing game might just shut down the Bairdi industry, which would not be good for the crabbing fleet because they wouldn't be able to fish Bairdi for about 3 years. So Sig asks Johnathan and Casey if they'd be willing to come back out to finish the season and help catch the remainder of the Bairdi quota. They're like, yeah, we'll come out, we'll get here as soon as we can. The Summer Bay, the Time Bandit, and the Cornelia Marie, they're all getting to the grounds, and right as they're getting there, the Northwestern is hauling in their gear, and they are getting a couple Bairdi crab to very little. They start talking with everyone, and they're like, we're not finding much. Sig is talking with a southern wind, and he's like, we're not finding stuff, but we'll stick here and see how it goes. All the boats start setting their gear and bombarding this 32-mile area where this big school of Bairdi crab is. They all start setting their gear. Once they've got all their gear set, they let it soak for a day. They start going through their gear, and they're all getting 100 plus Bairdi crab up to 245 Bairdi crab, which is killer. They're all on a biomass. The Northwestern got all their quota and they're offloading their crab. They've offloaded their crab, and Mandy tells Sig how many pounds of Bairdi crab they caught, and they had 40,210 pounds of Bairdi crab, which was a little bit over their target goal for their quota. Then it goes to the Time Bandit, and Sig calls over to Johnathan, and he's like, we'd love to have you back here again for Opelio season. Johnathan's like, I might just have to do that. Then it goes to the Summer Bay, and the Summer Bay is just finishing out their 2020 Bairdi season. Then it goes to the Southern Wind, and Harley's like, I'm glad that we could help the fleet save the Bairdi fishing and help save the fishing in this industry. Then it goes to the Cornelia Marie, and Casey gives Jeff a Cornelia Marie jacket with his name on it, and Casey's like, normally people who work with us for a year, they get one, but I'm giving you one because you did really great. And Jeff's like, I don't want to leave, but I have to leave. Then it goes to the Time Bandit, and the Time Bandit crew gives him a t-shirt, and he's like, thank you for having me on. It was an awesome season, and I really enjoyed being up here with you in the wheelhouse, Johnathan. And Johnathan's gonna give Josh and Casey some extra Opelio quota for their 2021 season. Then it shows Josh getting back on the Cornelia Marie, and he's like, I'm just glad to be back on the Cornelia Marie. That is how episode 8 of season 17 of Deadliest Catch ends. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of this episode. Don't forget to hit the bell icon down below so I can be notified when I upload videos. Also, please share this video with your friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you guys for watching. And if you ain't dreaming, you ain't living. Don't forget to dream big.